Hello everyone. Today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 12, linear programming. So let's start our class. First we will discuss linear inequation in two variables. Linear inequations in two variables. Remember, the inequations of the form, the inequations of the form ax plus by less than c, ax plus by less than c, comma ax plus by less than equal c, and ax plus by greater than c, comma ax plus by greater than equal c are called linear inequation in two variables. Are called linear inequation in two variables. Remember, the inequation of the form ax plus by less than c, or ax plus by less than equal c, and ax plus by greater than c, or ax plus by greater than equal c are called the linear inequation in two variables. Next, linear programming problem. Linear programming problem. LPP, linear programming problem. A linear programming problem, remember, a linear programming problem is one in which we have to find the maximum or minimum value of a linear expression, subject to certain conditions, determined by a set of linear inequations in linear inequalities LIEIS, inequalities with variables as non-negative. Remember, A linear programming problem is one in which we have to find the maximum or minimum value of a linear expression subject to certain conditions determined by a set of linear inequalities with variables as non-negative. Next. Terms related to LPP. Terms related to LPP, linear programming problem. Number one, constants. The linear inequations, the linear inequation or inequalities or restrictions on the variables of a linear programming problem are called constants. The conditions x greater than equal 0, y greater than equal 0 are called non-negative restrictions. Are called non-negative restrictions. The linear inequations or inequalities or restrictions on the variables of a linear programming problem are called constants. The condition x greater than equal 0, y greater than equal 0 are called non-negative restrictions. Next, number two, optimization problem. Optimization problem. A problem which seeks to maximize or minimize a linear functions, a linear function subject to certain constraint, certain constants determined by a set of linear inequalities is called as optimization problem. Linear programming problem are special types of optimization problems. Next, objective functions. We'll discuss about objective functions. Number 3. Number 3. Objective function. A linear function of two or more variables. A linear function of two or more variables which has to be maximized and minimized under the given restrictions. Under the given restrictions. In the form of linear inequations. Is called the objective function. The variables used in the objective function are called decision variable. Remember, objective function, a linear function of two or more variables which has to be maximized or minimized under the given restrictions in the form of linear inequations is called the objective function. The variables used in the objective functions are called decision variables. Number 4. Next, number 4. Optimal value. The maximum or minimum value of an objective function, the maximum or minimum value of an objective function of an objective function is known as its optimal value. Optimal value. Remember, the maximum or minimum value of an objective function is known as its optimal value. Number 5. Number 5. Solution. A set of values of the variables which satisfy the constraints which satisfy the constraints of given linear function or objective function or objective function of several variables subject to the conditions that the variables are non-negative condition that the variables are non-negative is called a solution of the linear programming problem of the linear programming problem. Next, number 6, feasible solutions. Feasible solution. Any solution to the given linear programming problem which also satisfies the non-negative restrictions which also satisfies the non-negative restrictions of the problem is called a feasible solution. any point, remember, any point, any, any point outside the feasible region, the feasible is called an infeasible solution. Infeasible is called the infeasible solutions. Remember, any solution to the given linear programming problem which also satisfied the non-negative restriction of the problem is called a feasible solution. If any number, any point outside the feasible region is called infeasible, is called an infeasible solution. Number 7. Feasible region. The set of all feasible solutions, the set of all feasible solutions constitutes a region which is called the feasible region. Each point in this region represents a feasible choice. Represents a feasible choice. The region other than the feasible region other than is called an infeasible region. Is called an infeasible next. Number 8. Bounded region. Number 8. Bounded region. A feasible region of a system of linear inequalities of a system of linear inequalities is said to be bounded if it can be enclosed within a circle. Otherwise, it is said to be unbounded region. Otherwise, it is said to be unbounded. Next, number 9. Optimal solutions. Optimal solution. Optimal solution. A feasible solution at which the objective function a feasible solution at which the objective function has optimal value is called the optimal solution. Of the linear programming problem. Of the linear programming problem. Remember, a feasible solution at which the objective function has optimal value is called the optimal solution of the linear programming problem. Number 10. Optimization technique. The process of obtaining the process of obtaining the optimal solutions is called optimal technique. Optimization technique. Remember, the process of obtaining the optimal solutions is called the optimization technique. Thank you.